Live from the Cactus Creek at Ibri, he is the king of prime time, Ghana's undisputed entertainment laureate, and still the youngest old man in Ghana. Put your hands together, show some love for the indefatigable KSM.
The KSM Show.
I'm sorry. I promise to stop doing this, man. But one more time this way. Anyway, folks, I'm extremely excited today. And because, you know, we haven't done it from location here in a while, but I'm back at Cactus Creek. So welcome all of you to Cactus Creek. Yes. And my special guest, you know, I mean, because of the guest, we had to do it here. It's a very, very special man. You know, this man, you know, in Ghana, when they're introducing people, they say, oh, this man needs no introduction. After that, I can start 30 minutes to introduce them. But this man really needs no introduction. If you don't know this man, I don't know where you are from. But just to summarize, man, he created the biggest transformation in the banking system in this country, man. Show some love, man. I'm telling you, this man, for back to back 6 years, he was nominated as Ghana's most respected CEO. Yes, CIMG Marketing Man of the Year 2006. He did some amazing work for Johnny Walker and everything. And he's come up with a book. I'm sure when I was talking, most of you say, the UT story, man. Show some love, man. I'm telling you, I'm not such a great reader, but when I got this book, I couldn't put it down. And I hear many people, it's happening to many people across the world. But let me keep quiet now, because I want to introduce my brother from another mother. Put your hands together, show some love for Captain Retired Prince Kofi Amoabeng. There we go. Please, Captain.
Thank you very much.
All right. Now he's in the house. We're going to go for a commercial break. When we come back, trust me, the show will continue. So stick around. We'll be right back.
The KSM Show.
We're back. Captain, welcome to Cactus Creek.
It's a beautiful place.
You love it?
It is a beautiful place.
Oh, I'm glad you like it, man. And coming from you, dear.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic. I'm amazed. Yeah.
But welcome to the show, man.
Thank you.
It's good to have you here. You know, I was not in the country when I saw this on Facebook or in some social media blast. I said, oh, really? You didn't tell me about this, oh. I felt very jealous.
Well, it was in the works.
I didn't know anything.
I've always thought of writing a book. It's the surest way of giving something for the younger generation. So I've always thought about it. So maybe about 10, 11 years ago, I got someone to say, so put something together. And then that guy was so wild and so judgmental. When he writes about anybody, the person will come and kill me afterwards. So because it's crazy, it's okay. Let's respond to the good people. Then of course we had problems with running the companies and things like that. So this one started maybe about 5, 6 years ago. Yeah, when the young man George came to my house, he was actually doing a documentary on a Bo White.
On a Bo White.
And the Bo White said he should interview me briefly. So he came and talked to me and everything, and then later on he came and said, oh, he's the guy who came to do a documentary on the Bo White. He thinks I have a great story to be told. And I said, what? And he was talking about film and this and that, and I said, listen, leave me alone. Yeah. You know, but he's very insistent. And he kept coming and he said, oh, and I said, well, I'm thinking of a book instead of, you know, film and all that. And
was the idea for you to make a film about you?
Yeah, his idea.
Oh, originally it was a film. Okay.
And I said, no, I'm thinking about a book. No, so he can write a book. So I looked at him and said, how many books have you written? He said, none. I said, you want to use me as guinea pig? What are you talking about? So, I didn't really take him serious, but he kept coming for over 2 years and brought me a proposal and other things, and that's what I loved about him. He was very, very consistent. And I said, okay, let's start something. So I sent the proposal, and we've been at it for almost 3 years now.
Wow, wow. Let me say this, considering he hadn't written anything before, and this was his first time, I think it's more than magnificent.
Unbelievable.
Unbelievable. Because once you get into this book, oh man, there's no stopping.
Yeah, you see, that's the thing about this world. You give people opportunities. Otherwise, you know, their talents, hidden talents will never come out.
Yeah.
And nobody could have done it better than George.
Oh, it's fantastic.
And he dedicated himself, went to people, interviewed other people, researched, and got the best people from the universities and everything. And you can see the quality, the English and everything is fantastic.
Everything, top notch.
Yeah, yeah.
I hope I can get to interview him one of these days.
You have to take me a commission.
I have to be a commissioner. We'll arrange that, man. Show some love for George, man. But Happy, reading this book, and we are sort of friends, you know. We are my brother.
No, we are more than friends.
Yeah, we are brothers. We've been back and forth. But reading this book gave me an excitingly, refreshingly new perspectives about you. I always knew you were stubborn. I saw a ding.
That's an understatement.
That's an understatement. Yeah, because I remember the first time I interviewed you, you talked about when your father used to chain you.
Absolutely. You remember? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. That's when I was about 4 years.
4 years?
5, yeah.
What do you for never chain, you know?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And I've never changed, really. I've just grown old. But I haven't changed.
But you didn't change?
No.
Because reading the book, and folks, I keep saying reading the book, and if you don't have a copy of this book, please do yourself a great favor. You have to read this book. And as the time goes on, I'll tell you where you can get the book. But reading the book, you know, this is the profile I got from the book of you. You know, very stubborn, very, very, very opinionated in a way. You know, you seem to have your world, and there are certain things that you want in that world. And you want to control those things. And somehow, you know, even though you like the nightlife and now not you and
oh yeah, I was known for that.
Yes.
Yeah. For a long
big time.
Mrs. Swatche.
And even though, you know, but somewhere along the line you decided, I should bring some discipline in my life.
Absolutely.
I don't like how things are going.
Yep.
So you decided that the army was the best place. Tell me a little bit about that. How you came to the decision and say, no, I'm not happy with things.
When I finished university, and with a second class apart, those days, almost certainly you were guaranteed a scholarship to do your master's. There were all the Commonwealth scholarships, India, Canada, Australia, name it. But unfortunately, after I applied, nobody called me. And I realized that the system was changing. So I better do something different. Because from elementary school through to university, I'd always been written to P.O. Box 32 Kukrentumi. And now for once, they didn't even write.
Nobody wrote.
I said, no, Ghana, Sisa.
Wow.
So then I said, those days, so your father hasn't got classmates. He's not a politician. He's not a chief. He's nothing. He's an ordinary farmer. So I said, listen, the life I'm leading plus what is happening around me, I better do something different. I think I need a bit of discipline. So I applied to go into the army because I felt that's where I could get some discipline. I didn't really like the armed forces. You know, those days we had been fighting a champion's government, that is campus and all sort of things. But I felt that could change my life. And that wasn't the first time I was making that decision. When I finished, I decided Form 5. And I was a very good student. I decided that if I should go back for 6th form, the way we were jamming and not studying, I might not go to university. So I decided to go to St. Peter's Secondary School. The headmaster, Pakolo, called me several times that you have to come back here. I said, sir, this one name Kofi. So it's useless changing it. But I knew that if I could qualify to St. Peter's, they always had 100% going to university. So my university was guaranteed. So you must take decisions that will guarantee you the next step. So that's how come I took that decision. And it was the best decision I took. My transformation into a disciplined, God-fearing, respectful of people all came from the armed forces.
All came from the armed forces. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, because folks, and when you read the book, you will understand where I'm coming from, because you love life.
Yeah.
Recklessly.
Yeah.
And my dad.
Yeah. I could take all sort of risks.
Reckless.
But I didn't throw that enjoyment part out too.
You took that to the army?
No, even out of the army, I knew when to play that bit.
Okay. You joined the army?
Yeah, I joined the army, and there was a complete transformation. Like day and night. I thought after university, going to the army, you were a graduate, so they were going to pamper you and you know.
No such thing.
And when you read the book, you see. I got there and I was dazed. I didn't know where I was, and I was being shifted, and cigarette was coming out of my pocket and things like that, and flying all over the place, you know. And the first couple of days, I was lost. It was a bad dream. But you see, that's what the army is. You have to break down.
Did this scare you at any point when you got into the barracks? And in your book, and I don't want to give anything away, but you had a very interesting encounter, and you were like, hey, now you were still had a civilian mentality.
Yeah, I just said, man, if this is how you're going to behave, I'm going to walk back. and they thought, you are crazy. I said, why? I came here on my own, so I mean, I can always walk back. No. Once you land, you're finished.
Finished?
Yeah. And as I said in the book, you know, they said I should carry my box on my head. I said, no, I can manage. What are you talking about? And then the guy started shouting. I said, no, this is an order. And then I looked ahead of me and saw a mate of mine a mate from university carrying his box and doubling. I said, hey, Jesus, I'm my banner there. So I had to carry my box, and that was the beginning of it all.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So what was going through your mind, you know? Here you are, a very independent thinker. Now they say, carry your box and double up. And you're doing it.
I just had come to the wrong place.
Really?
And it's like a dream. It's like, oh, you wake up. You know, this can't be real life. You wake up and it's all a dream. And you didn't wake up. The time you woke up, you are an upside gentleman.
At what point did you start adjusting, saying, no, let's get used to it, because this has come to stay. This is it.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. See, when you join the army and you don't want to put in your best, but you want to complain and object to things, you end up being disliked, and you end up finding the place very, very difficult. And I realized that quite early, because here were all the cadets. If you do your assignment well, the instructors tend to overlook you and concentrate on those who are wawa, that's the term. So that then you can get a bit of reprieve, relaxing, because they are concentrated on those who can't do the task. So I said, okay, fine. I think I better do it well and get admiration from them and also special treatment from them than being wawa and objecting to it. So I learned that very early. Maybe after the first week, I realized that no. This place, you've come and you are here for good. Do it well and let them like you, and then enjoy the place, and stop complaining. And that's what my roommate couldn't do. You know, reading the book, I'm sure you remember, my roommate, he was older. From secondary school, he went to teachers training school, then went to the university before coming to military academy. And when we went, our senior cadets, had just come from 6th form, right? So they were a lot younger than this teacher. Yes. And taking instruction from these small boys was a bit of a problem for him. Me, that was that. And one more there, and one person, and I said, listen, this is what the whole thing is about. And you know, so he was always being admonished for not doing things properly, and he didn't have the natural flair for, say, drills, and he didn't have the stamina for exercises and things like that. And his name, unfortunately, was Dose. And it's like Dozy, Dose, and everyone was mentioning his name, and it got to him.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And to finish that part, after I tried, and he said he still wanted to go, I said, okay, I'll help you to go, because honestly, you don't belong here. And this is not the only place to make it in life. So I helped him. We did what we call fire and movement. That is, you just move and then take cover, move and take cover.
So just before we get there, he couldn't take the routine.
Yeah.
So he wanted to leave. But he couldn't just put in a letter and say,
No way.
Really?
The system just, you can't walk away. You can't.
So you come in and once you come in,
you must run away.
You have to go.
And even when you run away and you are caught, you'll be put in the guard room and back into the system.
Wow.
So you must run away and run away for good.
So if you can't stand it, you run away.
No, you can't. You mean you write and say,
yeah, nicely.
No.
Nice corporate letter. No, really?
And give it to who?
Yo, come on.
By the time you wake up in the morning, Eja part also. People will cry away, you know. So it was quite unheard of. You can't. I mean,
why did you decide to help him to run away?
Because he couldn't. I mean, I had tried. I used to have gari hidden in the ceiling and things, and I'll give him some of the gari and say, no, you eat a bit of gari because you need it for the exercises because you can't do it on empty stomach. So I give him a bit of gari. He wasn't eating it with any vim. He would just be nibbling at the gari. I said, eat it. This is what's going to save you. You know, and I think when we went to dining hall, for example, as soon as you enter, these seniors won't let you sit and eat properly, and they say, all junior cadets out. And by that time, my roommate wouldn't have taken me a spoonful. But you know what I was doing? As soon as I get there, I pour ice water into the rice water or cocoa. So it's not hot. And then I start going at it because I need the food for the exercises. I start
so
going
it's not the taste.
No,
you just have to fill your stomach.
What do you taste? And whilst you are eating it, you steal your own egg. You take the egg from the plate as if you are going to eat it and then slide it into your pocket because you need the egg for your vitamins and protein, whatever, you know. And he couldn't even steal his own egg because if you are seen stealing your own egg, a whole officer, how can you steal your egg? How can you steal egg? And he was caught stealing.
So he stole.
You know, he was not good at stealing his own egg. You know, so this is, and after that, I looked at him and I said, listen, your spirit is certainly not here.
Yeah.
And interestingly enough, you know, in the book I explain how I helped him to go out.
Yeah.
In the night, when we wake up in the morning, it's about 3:30 a.m., 4 a.m., we go for early morning tattoo, and it's dark. And they call the roll, and then after that, we go running around the whole of Teshing and those places. So in the night, when they mentioned his name, I answered. I said, yes, sir. And then they mentioned Kofi Amoabeng, and I said, yes, sir. So
the responses were different.
Variation. And I had planned with him that don't move, stay in the dorm. I'll cover you at the tattoo. But by the time we come back, you should be gone. Because at that time, we had put his things in the bush already. Now we went round and came back, and I knew my man was gone. He was fast asleep. Hey! The thing is, you don't even have uniform for the day. So I said, now where we've reached, Upe, you are going to go. So hurry up. I gave him a cutlass. I took a broom or I took a cutlass, whatever. And I said, now double up. We have to go through. And it was just about 5:30, so it wasn't exactly full daylight. I went through the bushes and I took him into the bush where his things were. And that was very emotional parting. I remember very well, I looked at him, I looked into his eyes, and I embraced him and I said, listen, there are a whole lot of opportunities outside there, so if you couldn't make it here, forget it.
Go and, yeah.
And we shook hands, and then I saw him off, Sude saw him with his things going off. And I have never seen him again until today.
You have never? Yes, I saw that. To date, you never heard of him again?
No.
Duse or Duse?
Duse,
please, if you are watching. Come up and say, Charlie, are they here? Probably. It's getting so exciting. There's so much to talk about. We're going to take a commercial break. When we come back, more to come. We'll be right back.
The KSM Show.
Hey, we're back. Welcome back.
Thank you.
Yeah, there's something else I realized in the book. I mean, this book has so many stories. This is just one of them. And there are so many things to say, but this thing really caught my eye because at one point, there were people in the army that knew you, that were your seniors. or they became senior cadets.
Yeah.
And because they knew you before, they were sort of lenient towards you in the exercises, and you could tell that they were definitely being lenient. But when the roles reversed, and you became senior cadet, and they were junior, you sort of bullied them?
You know, we're all same intake, right? But then I know exactly what you're talking about. And these were my very good friends. And they had the appointment of corporals. So it became cadet corporals.
Okay.
And we were still ordinary cadets with no rank. And I tell you, that small rank, the power that you have is not easy. I mean, you can decide that the ordinary cadet can go out a weekend or not go out. You can punish him, do anything. Now, when they got their corporal and I was ordinary cadet, they were being nice. So, Kofi, you don't do anything here. Kofi, take it easy. And I'll look at them. Me, when I get a post, I won't chop it like that. But if you are the boss or the leader, you must show that you are the leader. You must show it by example and must give responsibilities and sanction if they don't do it properly. There are no half and half ways. They decide to chop theirs leniently. me.
So it was their decision to be lenient.
To be lenient. I was just a raw corporal, no ifs, no buts, no abusiansem, no friendship, and I was just chopping my corporal.
I realized that one of them was very shocked. Now, Kofi, I gave you a break. What's going on here?
And he's the one I'm closest to. He's my closest friend up to today.
Up to today.
And I think we have our mutual respect.
Yeah.
And he was actually a director of Unique Trust Financial Services.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, even to that extent. You know. So we trust ourselves, but maybe we chop posts differently. But he understands why I chop my posts like that.
Well, let me add this, you know, because when you drove him to the point, just say, almost to the breaking point, then you sort of like felt a little bit sorry for him.
Yeah, you see, the point is, if an outsider, a superior officer, should see an officer cadet flaunting the regulations or directives of a cadet corporal, he will be in more trouble, official trouble. So at that stage, I say, hey, Brian Jai. If he even has to go home and because of me, it's okay. I say, no.
Well, folks, if you want to hear more about his soldier life, get the book, man, because some amazing stories in the military, and then you realize the training and the discipline, everything. And let me just roll on so that we can get to the meat of the issue. You know, you left the army with some amazing kind of discipline, and you love the army.
Absolutely.
You worship being in the army.
Yeah.
And what you loved about it was the structure?
The structure, the discipline, the exactness. In the army, you know exactly what you're supposed to do. You know what is expected, or you used to. Everything was well laid out. You knew what you couldn't do. I mean, certain things that they won't even explain to you, but it makes a lot of sense. For example, if you're working with a senior officer, you don't work on his right side. You must work on his left. It seems like, why? Now, right to the idea. But it makes a lot of sense, because if you should meet someone who is saluting you, the group, the senior officer needs his right side to be free for him to take his salute. So don't work on his right, work on the left. They won't tell you why. But everything to the detail in the army. And life should be made easy. I think that's one thing about I should know what's expected of me and what I can do. So when I found a system like that, I knew I was in for the rest of my life. And I told my friend, I said, this is it. I'm not going anywhere. The point that when we were being catered and I was getting a Sam Brown, I told them they should give me a bigger one because it made Really?
That's how determined you were?
It was where I found my comfort. The army. But unfortunately, it didn't turn out that way.
Yeah. You got to a point where you thought that the military was losing its structure and discipline.
It lost it. And see, the 79 coup, luckily I wasn't even here. I was then on a training in the UK. And then the coup happened. And it was unimaginable. You couldn't fathom what was happening. That in Ghana Armed Forces, there is a coup with junior officers and other ranks, and they've overthrown the generals and thereby become heads of state or government of the country, and they had killed generals and senior officers, some had run away. I mean, if you're outside, it was the most scary thing. So I actually wrote home and told my dad that, forget it, I'm not coming. Because my army had been taken away from me. This is not the kind of armed forces I joined.
Oh.
You know. But then I came back after handed over to Liman, end of 79, no, September 79. I came back end of 79. And the army that I saw had been turned over on its head. And stories from some of the senior officers, harrowing stories. What they did to them, junior officers, and not junior officers, especially the other rank, to colonels and generals, never to be repeated. It should never happen again. And so I stayed because I felt, well, with time we could probably, you know, come back to whatever. But unfortunately, or fortunately, as we will have it, in 81, there was another revolution. And I said, no.
I'm through with it.
I'm done.
Wow.
So 82, I just stepped out. And I said, forget it. And I didn't have a plan B. So just like, enough is enough.
Enough is enough.
And I stepped out with nothing to do.
Okay.
Yeah.
And we're going to get to that when you stepped out. But I also noticed that you actually were one of the security people assigned to General Champo. The residence of General Champo.
Not in that. Yes and no. At the military academy, I was posted to 5 battalion, Arakan Barracks, which is in Accra, you know. And General Champo stayed in the barracks as head of state. He stayed in Arakan Barracks. So, as a young officer, they will detail you and your platoon, and you probably, your responsibility maybe for by a month is to guard the president's residence. From there they move you, you go and guard the broadcasting house, or you become standby platoon, therefore you go around trouble spots in Accra. That happened during my battalion attachment, and therefore I was a full-time infantry officer. Because when you go for battalion, you're supposed to go through training and everything like a proper infantry officer, even though I was supposed to be a paymaster because of my qualification as, because I had BSc admin, accounting and all that, So it was during the training that I had to guard a champion's residence, and I had to also go for the scouting and guard broadcasting, which each one brought his own experiences and challenges, which I've talked about in the book.
I know that you were talking about the breakdown and the junior ranks now killing officers and generals. The shooting of Champong and Koten, some of those, did they have a particularly jolt you?
Yeah, it did, big time. As I said, I wasn't here. And you couldn't believe it. And my only source of news was the BBC. So you always grew to the radio at the time, and you talk about BBC, the TBC tells you about things happening in Ghana, your own country. It was very harrowing. It was unbelievable. It gave you a jolt. I mean, everything was like a bad dream, you know. But that is true, it happened.
Wow. Let's fast forward. Because you got sick and tired, you left the military. And then
I went into the wilderness.
You went to the wilderness?
The wilderness is started doing business, which was by default, because there were no jobs at the time. There was Rollins chain, there was hunger in 82, 83 and everything, so you couldn't get a job. So by default, I started doing business with my next door neighbor. You know, and that's how it started.
And you went through experiences, quite a bit of them.
Plenty.
Which I don't want to give away because I want you to get the book.
15 years.
15 years?
Yes. 1982 to 1997.
Wow.
Yeah. And I did all kinds of businesses. You know, we started by buy and sell, then we did sawmilling, then we did air conditioning business, then I was a contractor.
Oil?
We did oil business, we did, name it. I called it the wilderness because then I was learning about business. And so after 15 years, when finally I had the challenges with funding and I decided to set up Unique Trust Financial Services, the people who came to me asking for funding to run their business, I knew more business than them. That was the advantage. You know, typical bankers are not business people. They are not practitioners. But of course, they've learned the theory and they also have relationship with business people, so they pick it up as in how to run the businesses. I had run businesses myself, various types of businesses. And
while in the wilderness.
The book is agog with wild experiences, what I went through throughout the whole 15 years.
Were you aware it was a learning experience for you? Did you use it as a learning experience?
It was survival. I was trying to make monies. So this business is good, and then something comes, you should import this, you quickly go and import it to try and make a margin, and you go into oil because, again, you're representing the big companies and can make a margin. Then later on, I ran a petrol filling station myself, so I was a dealer, all about margin. So it's about making money, you know. And I didn't find them too, I wasn't too passionate about them. That's how I'll put it. Because you are in it just for the money. If you meet any serious obstacle, you tend to just leave it and move on to the next thing. And that is what you need in building sustainable business. You need to be passionate about it. So for most of those business, I wasn't passionate about it. It was just about trying to make money.
You're just doing it to survive, to make money.
Until I started Unique Trust. Then I saw that this one, my whole heart is in it.
Yeah. And even starting Unique Trust is an amazing story in itself. You know, you were very, very, very hurt because a loan application had been turned down. And you were so distraught about them turning your loan application down. You started thinking, maybe I should go into giving money without people going through the hustle that I've been through. That was the idea?
That was the whole idea. Because I'd faced it so many times. And I said I would have been a millionaire long, long ago if funding were easily available. And each time I hit a wall and I lose opportunities. But this one, it hurt me because I felt it was nonsense. Forget about it, but that's exactly how I felt. I applied for 20 million cedis at the time, which was roughly about $20,000. And they approved 3 million. So I said, if you want 20 million. So I asked the MD, I said, do you know that you cannot divide 20 by 3? They said, why am I saying that? I said, how can you give 3 when I've asked for 20? And they said, oh, you must have a credit history, so you take the 3, and if you pay back, then you have a credit history.
Come for more.
My business cannot wait for me to take the 3 and waste it, and for what for? I mean, I wouldn't even know what to use the 3 million for. But that's how banks tend to treat the SMEs. And that really annoyed me, and I said, no.
So was it your idea that let me set up a non-banking institution, more or less, that will give people loans, but don't take them through this hustle?
Exactly. That was to say that I would do it differently to show that it can be done without all these insults and that we're experiencing in the banking hall.
Wow.
You know.
And then you came up with the historic alone in 48 hours. It had never been done
no,
or heard of.
We didn't start like that. When we started, I was a bit naive because I said I was going to give loans based on trust. Don't even have collateral. If I trust you, then I'll give a loan. So I remember my big brother, Atuahoe, when he was about to help me, he said, so Kofi, what system do you have in place to collect your money back? I looked at him and I said, if you like, take my money and don't pay.
That's my system.
I said, but that was my system. So I could trust. I thought if I trust you, I'll give you the money. If you don't pay, I'll make you pay. You know. But initially it was working because I didn't have too many clients. So Bank of Ghana rep came to me and they said, and they picked up about 8 files. And they said, you gave loans to these people, but there are no collaterals on them. Luckily, all of them have paid. So I said, but they have paid. They said, no, well, we see they have paid, but Kofi, assume you have 1,000 files. you think you alone, you can go and collect all your money? And I said, yeah, I think you have a point.
You have a point there.
Because the business is going to grow, and I can't just depend on me going directly for my money. So then we have to put systems in place. So that came later on. Now, the loan in 48 hours that you mentioned, we realized that, and it was staring at us. Even today, SMEs, typical SME, when they need money, they need it like now, because they don't plan. The business hits, the opportunity just hits them, and they are looking everywhere, and they need the money, and it's good business. So we said, no. Let's cut all this process of lending. Let's cut it. And I challenged my staff, and I said, can we do it in a week? And they said, okay, that will cut this. One of the things that took us down from maybe normal 2 months, 6 weeks to less than just a few days was for the applicant to know his or her fate. You know, normal bank, see your project officer, he writes a project paper, give it to the branch studies it, then it goes to maybe something, then goes there for area manager. All this while you don't know your fate. So I said, listen, if anybody wants a loan, nobody should talk to him. From reception, you should come and see me. And why? Because if we won't give you the loan, why should you be in the queue? So I listened to you quietly for about 5 minutes and said, no. You don't have what it takes, so go away. You won't waste your time. And some people took offense that way. But invariably when we say no, yes, it's not good enough. Either you're not making enough profit for us to charge the interest, or the project is not viable. And I could see a project which wasn't viable. And if we do the loan, we cut all that time that it has to go through the process. And we just tell you, the client, that listen, go straight away to the client's place of business, to his house and everything, and give us raw data as of now. Don't bring 3 years accounts. Don't bring it. We don't need it. Because I know, even today, accountants who can manufacture 3 years accounts. And if you take it, you're in trouble. So we had to do practical things to ensure that we could do loan in 48 hours.
Wow.
Yeah.
Show some love, man. Kofi is getting very, very exciting. And I'm sorry, I can't let you go. So please, we're gonna end the session right here.
I haven't said I'm going.
We're gonna end the session here for this week. But stick around. We'll be concluding this show next week. Meanwhile, before next week, so that when you come back and we are talking next week, you can also, remember. Yeah. Kofi, before we go, where can people get these just before we...
you can get in a whole lot of places. If you're not in Accra or normal places, you can get it on booknook.store. Booknook.store. And they will deliver to you.
Okay.
By in Accra, you can get the EPP bookstores, Kingdom bookstores, Osu Total Station, Airport Station, Barcelona, Total, and a whole lot of other places. We're actually going with the distribution to a lot of places to make sure that it gets, and then it's also available in Kumasi, Ho. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fantastic. And the book is doing extremely well.
Yeah.
Make sure you get your copy. And next week, we shall bring you the shocking conclusion. So until we come back next week, KSM signing off in the words that I always use. KSM, hold on. Folks, I almost forgot. This Sunday, December 5th, is my birthday. That's right. I turn 65. Put it, 65. But still, I remain the youngest old man in GH. Yes. Now, KSM, can we sign off? So the whole world join me to say, we are out of here.